Elder.
I want to talk more about the State of the Union speech and what Trump said about immigration.
The United States is a compassionate nation. We are proud that we do more than any other country anywhere in the world to help the needy, the struggling, and the underprivileged all over the world. But as President of the United States, my highest loyalty, my greatest compassion, my constant concern is for America's children, America's struggling workers, and America's forgotten communities. I want our youth to grow up, to achieve great things. I want our poor to have their chance to rise. So tonight I am extending an open hand to work with members of both parties, Democrats and Republicans, to protect our citizens of every background, color, religion, and creed. My duty, and the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber, is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
It was some line, wasn't it? Americans are dreamers too. Now, how do we get this way on immigration? We've told you about the things that Harry Reid used to say and President Bill Clinton used to say and even Barack Obama used to say. Chuck Schumer, Hillary, and Obama on DACA. Listen to this.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
The President's decision to end DACA was heartless and it was brainless.
When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Hundreds of thousands of families will be ripped apart.
If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong.
Tens of thousands of American businesses will lose hardworking employees.
A biometric-based employer verification system with tough enforcement and auditing is necessary to significantly diminish the job magnet that attracts illegal aliens to the United States.
They may have known no other country but ours and have voluntarily registered themselves.
All illegal aliens present in the United States on the date of enactment of our bill must quickly register their presence with the United States government or face imminent deportation.
But we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay. So we don't want to send a message that is contrary to our laws or will encourage more children to make that dangerous journey.
With respect to the notion that I can just suspend deportations through executive order, that's just not the case, because there are laws on the books that Congress has passed, and I know that everybody here at Bell is studying hard, so you know that we've got three branches of government. Congress passes the law. The executive branch's job is to enforce and implement those laws, and then the judiciary has to interpret the laws. There are enough laws on the books by Congress that are very clear in terms of how we have to enforce our immigration system, that for me to simply, through executive order, ignore those congressional mandates would not conform with my appropriate role as president.
And then, of course, he promptly did, creating this class of so-called DACA recipients, and that's why we're having this discussion. It's mind-boggling. Let me give you another one. You tell me who said this, and this was said in 2006. He's a liberal columnist. Quote, immigration reduces the wages of domestic workers who compete with immigrants. The fiscal burden of low-wage immigrants is also pretty clear. will need to reduce the inflow of low-skill immigrants, close quote. Who do you think said that? 2006. That was Paul Krugman. Paul Krugman is the economist who writes a very influential column for the New York Times. You can't get more left-wing than him. Twice supported Obama. What Democratic senator wrote this? When I see Mexican flags waved at pro-immigration demonstrations, I sometimes feel a flush of patriotic resentment. When I'm forced to use a translator to communicate with the guy fixing my car, I feel a certain frustration. Close quote. Who do you think said that? What senator? That was Barack Obama. And there is a piece in The Atlantic written by a guy named Peter Beinart. Peter Beinart is a Democrat. You see him from time to time on CNN if you watch a lot of CNN. Egg-headed kind of guy, very wonky, very well respected in the left. And he wrote a very long piece called How the Democrats Lost Their Way on Immigration. And the subheadline is almost as striking. In the past decade, liberals have avoided inconvenient truths about the issue, close quote. And he talks about the fact that illegal immigrations, low-skilled ones, depress the wages of people living in the inner city. He talks about the strain on services, education and healthcare services. He talks about all these things. And he quotes all these left-wing people who at one time, 10 or 20 years ago, agreed with the concerns of people like Donald Trump. And now all of a sudden, he said, because they realize they need them for electoral success. Everything I told you, right in there. They need them for votes. And they've now done a 180 on the issue where 10 or 20 years ago, they were completing sentences by people like Donald Trump. I'm Larry Elder. Don't leave town.